Welcome back, part 2. This is obviously the Loanee all-time 11 in your lifetime. We are regularly joined by the same guest we had on the previous show. That is Omer, my co-host. Hello, fella.
Hello, guys. All good?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And Chris, hello, mate.
Hello, mate. All right, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. And Joe, hello, fella.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. We're still in the same place. We've managed to get back in the same place, same environment, same atmosphere, same everything else. But yeah, you know, tricks of media, mate. We're recording this the same night. Let's give it away. But we're going on. Right. We are going midfield now, and we're going to go Joe first. Who is your left-sided midfield?
Left midfielder. This is quite difficult because I had three names for this one, but one of the left-sided midfielders that I chose can also operate on the right-hand side, and I was really struggling for a right-sided player. So I'm going to use one of those left-footers as a right-sided player. But the one I'm going to go for, and mainly for his hat-trick against Palace, I think it was, a player called Jason Puncheon.
Yeah.
Who
give us both left and right, because Joe, give us both left and right, because I think I might have the same options as you. So just give us both left and right.
And I went for Andros Townsend on the right because he has played for Tottenham and he has played for more recently with Palace on the right, sort of cutting onto his left foot. So I just thought with Puncheon on one side, Townsend on the other side, I thought it gives a nice sort of balance. Did you go for the same one? Did you?
They're my two, both of them, and I've actually got Townsend on the left and Puncheon on the right. I don't know why, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, they're both my wingers as well. So that's why I've gone the stipulation of saying give me both. And then I'll give a noble shout to Ben Marshall as well, because that first loan spell,
100%.
he was brilliant.
First stint, not sure about second stint, because I think he was, it wasn't quite the same player, was he? But the first stint, he was fantastic. I mean, I don't know how many assists he got for us that season, but he played a massive role in the goals we scored, you know, us sort of challenging for a playoff spot. He was a big factor in that under Harris, wasn't he? Yeah,
I can't look past Townsend and Puncheon personally. I guess, Chris, who's the two you've gone for left and right sides?
So I put, because you can play there, and I don't give a monkey's what Wikipedia says, I put Jason Puncheon in the middle because he has played in centre midfield. Right, and I was really struggling for central midfielders. I don't know how you boys got on, but I really struggled for central midfielders. So I put Puncheon in the middle, and then the other two names we just talked about, I had on left and right. So I had Townsend on the left, Ben Marshall, heavily caveated on his first season, where I thought he was superb and really brought something to the club that wasn't there. So Ben Marshall on the right, Andros Townsend on the left I had.
Interesting. So Mickey, I think we've got 2-1 on, unless you want to change to Ben Marshall, Joe. I mean, do you know what? I think for the impact that first season, he was remarkable. But then we've also got a caveat with second season, he was terrible, wasn't he? So like, it's kind of, I think I'm happy with Puncheon andOwnsend personally. I don't know if you want to change your mind.
I'm happy with Puncheon and Townsend. I think Ben Marshall's good. I mean, he's naturally right-footed. He did play a couple of times on the right-hand side, but you remember that season, we had Marshall on the left, Sajed on the right, and we had George Saville and would it be Sean Williams, I think, at the time, in midfield. And
that was a 17-game unbeaten run, wasn't it? When we got in the playoffs. Yeah.
That's it. And I think Marshall was great on that left side, sort of cutting in on his right foot, getting crosses in. But for me, I'm going to have to go with Puncheon and Andros Townsend. But again, I'll probably go because Puncheon's more left-footed and Andros was a bit more of a dribbler, could cut in on his foot, and you know he did that for Tottenham and Palace. I would say Andros on the right and Puncheon on the left, maybe.
Do you remember Ben Marshall? Sorry to interrupt. Do you remember Ben Marshall playing right back last game of the season against Villa and had an absolute amazing game and all that first season?
Yeah,
and he played
what's interesting, like, you say that when Norwich signed him on loan, or when he got him on permanent, didn't they? On a perm, they actually played him at right back. And I think a lot of that was due to the fact they probably thought he could play well right back, but he was obviously terrible, wasn't he?
I think at Blackburn he played as like a number 10. He played on the right, he played on the left, and he came to us and was shooting onto the left and done brilliantly. Then played right back at one game. Was thinking, God, this is like an unbelievable player. And then he went to Norwich. And I think he was on the under the cosh, wasn't he? And he said he didn't want to do it anymore, and he hated being in Norwich. And
anyone living and working in Norwich, it's going to drive you to all sorts, isn't it? To be fair, you can't really blame him, can you, for his performances? You know,
he said that himself, I think.
Did it? Was it just was that bad? Was it that he had to kind of go enjoy himself? Let's say.
Before we lock those two in, can we just hear the centre mids? Because if you can find, I've either made a massive boo-boo and missed obvious people, or there isn't players that are better than one of them three in the centre.
Okay, let's go with Omer then. He will tell us who he's got for centre mid.
I've got two. Both of them didn't. One's nostalgia because I thought to have a player play like for us, that's not a Mill type player, and he played the number 10 position for us under Holloway.
This is the Italian player.
As soon as Harris came in, he bombed him off straight away. It was Diego Fabrini. Now, Fabrini for me was just like, as if we've got a player like this at Millwall where he could just take players on and make it look so easy. It was like,
you have to remember Omer was how old when he was with us?
Who, Fabrini? I was about 20 probably. It was only about 8-9 years ago,
okay.
mate. Yeah, no. Fabrini, all right, go back into your little man cave garden, mate, and just stay over there. Fabrini was, I thought it was like, as if we've got a player, and we're not appreciating this because we don't really care about these type of players, but a flair player that just makes it so easy to take players on. And for me, that's why I put Fabrini in. And the other one is more so what he'd done after his career, which wasn't actually that sustained afterwards, but it was Jamie O'Hara. And O'Hara was on loan to us for about 10 games. I remember scoring a couple of big goals for us on the jacket. And yeah, I struggled afterwards to get midfielders because we had players like Liam Trotter on loan, George Saville, but all these players then ended up signing for us. So like, it wasn't really, you know, but O'Hara left us. Then I think he ended up playing in the Carling Cup final 3 months later. So I think Redknapp liked him and took him under his wing at Tottenham. But yeah, I went for Fabrini for the nostalgia, and then O'Hara is the other one to back up in midfield. And Fabrini is technically a number 10 and not really a 4-4-2 midfielder, but you can't put him anywhere else, I don't think, in that team.
I kind of highlighted 4 players. So 4 players that were on loan that sort of did a job for us in midfield. So Fabrini was one of them. Another player, before I say this other person, I agree with you. I thought Jamie O'Hara was excellent. We signed him from Tottenham, didn't we? Again, you know, same old sort of usual sort of stuff, giving them their first taste of real kind of first team football. I think he rose to the challenge. He was instrumental. He played 14 games for us, scored a couple of goals. So not a bad return. But certainly sort of made a big impact. And again, through us, it allowed him to kind of play at a high level with Spurs. The player that I like to partner with in midfield is Jason Malumbi.
Bloody hell. How have I forgot about Malumbi?
31 games, fans' favourite. Obviously, we were very, very close to re-signing him again on a perm, but we just missed out at that time to Preston, who loaned him again. But I just think a midfield with Malumbi and O'Hara together would be absolutely fantastic. And worth a little mention as well to Ryan Mason, who we signed on loan from Tottenham as well. So Ryan Mason played a few games, about 5 or 6 games for us. Done really, really well. I think we actually signed him with O'Hara, to be fair, at the same sort of time.
He signed same time as Kane.
Yeah, sorry. He didn't really set the world on fire for us, but when he went back to Spurs, obviously he got a good run into the team and done really well there. But I'd say O'Hara and Malumbi for me.
Another mention for another midfielder that's popped to my mind that I forgot about was Craig Eastman. We had him on loan from Arsenal, and he wasn't that great either. But he was in that. I think Jacket tried to sign a few. Yeah, Jacket tried to sign a few promising young midfielders and never really worked out. There was a few others like Michael Tong and stuff like that we had on loan, and Martin Rowlands. Remember him, the midfielder?
Martin Rowlands.
Yeah. There's a few that we had that year.
Remember we had Sean Derry as well.
Yes,
Sean Derry. Towards
the end of the season.
Bizarre choice.
He was about 86 though, weren't you, at the time, to be fair?
Yeah.
I need to put Malumbi in my team because I love the Malumbi at Millwall. So now I need to decide who I take out between Fabrini and O'Hara in my side. I think I want to keep Fabrini in there, so I'm going to take out O'Hara and put Malumbi and Fabrini as my team.
For that goal celebration, at least it's worth a claim in that team, isn't it? You know.
That's it. I think I'm going to change it and I'm going to put Malumbi and Fabrini because I think Fabrini is a player we'll never see again at Millwall, that kind of player. So there you go.
I agree with you with Fabrini. He was very, very exciting to watch. I remember thinking, just give him the ball. You know, you just wouldn't get the ball, just take the players on. But he didn't really do much. I mean, I think he played, 14, 15 games. I don't think he scored. He might have scored 1 goal.
Yeah.
Whereas
I agree with you.
I just felt O'Hara was a big player and then went on to even bigger things. Obviously,
I saw Diego Fabrini do constant flip flaps at the Den, and how many players have we seen doing flip flaps since at the Den? So that for me is why Fabrini gets in that midfield for me.
But no end product really, was there?
I completely agree. But how many players have we seen do a flip flap at the Den?
No, you're right. Exactly.
Just to step in a minute, gents. Just to step in, Chris. Go on, mate. You can have your say now.
Thanks, Mickey. Appreciate that.
That's all right. Do you know what I mean? They weren't shutting up, were they? Do you know what I mean? It was as if it's the Omer and fucking Joe show. Go on, fella.
It's good to have heated debate, though. All right.
It is. Now shut the fuck up and let Joe put his two in.
All right, I'll put you in your place.
So, I still stand by what I said to start with. I still think Ben Marshall gets in ahead of them. Just it's personal opinion, isn't it? Like that's what the whole point of this show is. But I'm not going to get him in because we've been voted out of it. So, although Ben Marshall did play in a 10 as well, so I could throw his name into the mix in the middle. I don't like having Malumbi in the team, knowing that he's still out there. And no, I don't know. I mean,
the strikers are going to be fun in a minute, in there. Do you know what I mean?
I
already know what the strikers are possibly going to be, but yeah, this is going to rally the debate in a minute. So yeah, all right, Chris, your 4 in midfield would be?
It's thrown me, to be honest. Fabrini's in for me.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to pick players that I felt, whether they had end products or not, obviously better if they did, but they just excited me. There was something a bit different. They refreshed the group that I genuinely really enjoyed watching. So for that reason, Fabrini's in. And that's why I'm going to just stick to my guns. I'll put Ben Marshall in the middle then. Jamie O'Hara, a close one. It sounds like it's going to be Malumbi and Fabrini in the middle then, to be honest. If we're going with the aggregate of what we've all said. I get it, Malumbi. I thought he was great when he's with us, and I really wanted us to sign him. However, personal view is he was a bit of a twat. Can I say I've said it now? When he came back and played against us, like he kept running around the pitch trying to sort of take Billy Mitchell out and bully him. And then Billy Mitchell actually had him in his pocket for most of the game. And I actually think that Billy Mitchell was a better player than Jason Malumbi, personal view. So for that reason, he's still a kid. He plays for another team in the Championship that finished below us last season. They're not good in next season. I can't have Malumbi for that reason. So Fabrini and Marshall.
If we have Malumbi on our side and he's trying to bully players, we'd be like, "Go on, Malumbi." We'd love it. I think it's like, I get your point. I agree with you, and I would say Mitchell might be the better option long term. And I'm happy we got Mitchell. But if Malumbi was on our side, like trying to like take the piss out of players and try to be like on their case constantly, we'd love it as fans, would we not? I suppose. I don't know.
We would if he actually got the rub of the green. Whereas if he tried to bully someone and then got mugged off like he did, then
I get that. So, I think we love Malumbi like we love Chris Wood, like as in like but I don't think Malumbi was on that kind of pedestal of Chris Wood kind of level, for example. So like, I agree with you as well there, to be fair. But I think I'll stick with Malumbi and Fabrini. I don't know. I'll stick to that.
Okay, so you're picking Malumbi and Fabrini, and you're going with Ben Marshall and Fabrini. So if I'm going for O'Hara and Malumbi, we got 2 for Malumbi, 2 for Fabrini?
Yeah, so that's the midfield then.
Yeah. So who's your left and right?
Who's that, Chris?
Punch
I'll go Punch and Townsend. I think me and Omar said
all
that.
The same?
Yeah.
Okay, go on in.
Chris, what do you go for again?
I put Marshall on the right, but I've swapped it for the purposes of this. So yeah, Punch and Townsend. Yeah.
Okay.
Make a note then, Joe. Okay. Yeah. So then, we've got the midfield. It's not a bad starting 11 so far, mate. And I think the strikers are going to finish this off blindingly.
Will be all night.
Strikers. Name both your strikers, I think, and we go Joe first because he's got a bit of Jack and Ori with it. So go on in, Joe.
Okay.
Strikers.
So very, 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 very easy one this for me. And at the end, once everyone else picked their strikers, I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other strikers that didn't make the top 2. So there's 7 that I've picked out altogether. But the 2 I'm going for, Very, very easy, this one. Of course, bit of a no-brainer. England captain Harry Kane, 22 games, 7 goals. Yeah, he was only, what, 18 when he joined us, I think. Made a massive impact, scored some great goals for us. You just knew this kid's going to go on to achieve, big things, and he didn't let us down, did he? The other player, I would love to have signed him at the time. I'm so gutted we didn't sign him. Is that New Zealand Chris Woods. So Chris Wood played 19 times for us, scored 11 goals, which is not a bad return. That's like 1 every sort of 2 games, is it, on average, I'll say. But yeah, great player. I think he just fitted in to the Millwall way of playing. Fantastic in the air, solid, work ethic, good finisher. Yeah, so I'm going for Harry Kane and Chris Wood.
Okay, go on in, Omer.
I'm exactly the same, Harry Kane and Chris Wood. I mean, there's going to be some shouts in here that, players that played 5 games for us, and we all agree that were outstanding. But I think Harry Kane is the easy option to go to, because obviously what he's gone on to do. But also in that spell where, like Joe said, I think even one goal that was 6 in the memory was Portsmouth away, where he scores on his left foot from about 25 yards out.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, literally. And it was a big goal at the time, and that was the game that kept us up. I think it was 2 to go. And it was a 1-0 win away from home at Fratton Park. And, he just bought into everything about Millwall. And he since spoke about it a couple of times, said how important it was for him as part of his learning development. He did. You couldn't say he didn't set the world alight like Chris Wood did, but he scored 7 in 22 at 18 years old in the championship. So, how many players do that at 18 years old in championship? Not many. So,
and I love his statement when he said that he loved playing for Millwall. That Millwall turned him from a boy into a man. That's his words. That's where he learned his craft. He said that's where his grounding came from, Millwall. And he said Millwall turned him from a boy into a man. Yeah, to say that, give us that kind of gratitude, I think it's fantastic.
Definitely. And I think with Chris Wood in particular as well. I mean, the story was we could have signed him for 200k, and we signed him on loan, and then we bid 1.5 million and matched Leicester's offer for him from West Brom.
He didn't want to come to us,
and he was never going to come. But you can't blame him, because he went to Leicester and probably earned 30 grand a week and got promoted to the Premier League, and then probably was on 40-50 grand a week afterwards. So you can't begrudge him for 1 second for it. But I think if he did sign that summer, that's January window, we ended up nearly going down last game of the season. So if we was in the playoffs, I think when he's playing for us. So we literally nosedived after we lost him, and that impact he left afterwards, the void he left, you can't not have Chris Wood and Harry Kane up front, I think.
Completely agree.
I agree. Chris?
Yeah, no, the same too. There's not many players that sign on loan for you that from the first minute they play, they just look a cut above. And you just know there is no way in hell they're ever going to sign for us permanently. You just know. And these two perfectly fit that description. I just, there's lots of other good honourable mentions. So, like the likes of Bruce Dyer. I'm joking. There's loads of good honourable mentions, which we'll go through in a minute, I'm sure. But and there's some really good players.
Gary Taylor-Fletcher.
That haven't made the team. But it has to be those two for me.
Yeah.
So then, come on in, Joe. Read us back the team.
So in goal, we've got Mark Crosley, 14 games for us. At right back, we've got Glenn Johnson. At left back, we've got Nathan Baker. At centre backs, we've got Daniel Ballard and Josh Hoyvold. Is it Hoyvold? In midfield, across the midfield, on the left-hand side, we're going to go with Punchin, is that right?
Yeah.
Andros Towers on the right-hand side. And then we've got a centre-mid partnership of Jason Malumbi and Fabrini. Up front, we've got Harry Kane and Chris Wood.
Right then.
Good team, that, by the way.
Good team.
Really good side.
Who's going to manage it?
Loan manager?
We haven't really had a loan manager.
I think
Alex Pearce.
Before we do that, just give a shout out really to a few players we did have on loan that could have been perm. We didn't sign for whatever reason, but a few names here. Danny Haynes, do you remember him? We got from Ipswich, played 5 times, scored 2 goals. Kevin Davies.
Yep.
Signed from, was it from Bolton at the time? 9 appearances, 3 goals. Dion Dublin. 5 appearances, 2 goals. Martin Waghorn was an interesting one. He's at Coventry at the moment, isn't he?
Great
14 games, 3 goals. And this is an interesting one here. I mean, a lot of Millwall fans know this player very, very well, but they wouldn't appreciate how many times he played for us as a lone player and the goals he scored. So this person has played 57 times for Millwall, scored 10 goals, and he's only been a lone player. Can you guess who it is?
What position do you play?
Up front.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, he scored more than 10 goals.
This would have been. Let me check, because there was two stints for this one.
Yeah.
So basically, he came on loan, scored a hatful of goals, left us, and then we signed him back again, and he basically kind of carried on from where he left off.
Joe,
go on. Who is it, Chris?
Definitely not scored more than that.
No.
Oh, that's not what I'm thinking of then.
Did you mention Huckabee, by the way, in your little synopsis there? Because Huckabee was
I didn't mention Huckabee.
Huckabee was like, what, 4 goals in 7 for us or something, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Who's the player?
Joe, I think I've got it. And he's in my list. So I've got 2 players, both signed from Arsenal on loan that we've not signed. One of them is Benicophobe, who I think deserves a mention, and the other one is Jay Simpson.
You're right, Jay Simpson.
Yeah. Simpson signed on the permanent, lads. He signed on the permanent.
He didn't. Both loans. So we had him on loan the first time, and he scored. He played 41 games the first time we had him, scoring 6 goals. And the second time he come back, he played 16 times and scored 4 goals.
Yeah,
I'm corrected. On loan from Hull.
I'm sure he got in like the team of the season when he scored 6 goals in 41 games, because he played right mid, up front. He played all over the place because he went to Hull, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah. No, he was.
Do you remember the game we lost 3-2 to Oldham and Lee Hughes scores a hat-trick at the Den? But I remember this really weirdly in the first spell. Simpson scores and he goes into the crowd, but he's already on a yellow and he gets a double yellow card and he gets sent off.
Yeah.
He comes down to the West Lower and then he gets sent off for going into the crowds. I don't know why that's like. It's like kind of stuck in my head for some reason. He got sent off after scoring a goal. But that's a great shout. Also, another player, I'm going to check his stats for it because it's come to my head. Remember Trezor Kandol?
Yeah. Leeds.
He scored a lot of goals. He scored a lot of goals for us as well on loan that season. He got, I'm going to tell you exactly how many because I'm checking right now. Trezor Kandol scored 8 in 18 games for us on loan.
Wow.
Which was for a striker.
That's not bad at all. I remember. He didn't do much other than score, though, did he? Like, do you know, he was. He's one of those players that was in the right place at the right time, but he didn't bring much out. I know that's obviously strikers had to put the ball in the back in it. I get that, but he was quite sort of lazy, I felt, other than that, which is probably why we didn't go for him.
And the clangers of loan signings we've had, though, to have Kandol as like 8 in 18 wasn't too bad. Like, you know, think of, like, the clangers like Renigi and Rob Hulse and stuff like that. There's been some.
I've got 2 more honourable mentions. They're not strikers, but I've got Lloyd Dyer, who we signed on loan. I think he played 6 games, but then he went on to have a really good career. Like, he played for Leicester and he scored loads of goals. I'm sure he ended up playing the Premier League, actually. He was a good player. And this player wasn't good for us at all. And I don't know who it was, but under the cosh, they said that this bloke was too nice to play for Millwall this early in his career. And he's then gone on to be a captain of many Championship clubs. So he's obviously got something about him. And the fact that none of us mentioned him for the left-back position says a lot. And that's George Friend.
Yeah.
Good shout, yeah.
Because he's same time
for us. Do you remember?
But you're right. Didn't we do it for us? Did he?
No.
Do you remember Cole Moore, the Man City loanee we had on loan as well, the left winger? He was nippy for us. Cole Moore. Cole Moore. His name was left winger.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a good player for us. Jacket signed him on loan because Jacket came as the from City's under-18s manager to then come to be us, and he was him and Ashley Grimes. Ashley Grimes obviously was a permanent signing. He was everyone loved Grimes, didn't they? But Cole Moore was a left winger that I remember sticks in the memory.
Yeah.
So then, back to the original bit before we went on a tangent. Shut up, Joe.
Do you not want content from us? No, do you not want tangents? So
I do. But I want to know.
Or something, or?
No. I want content, but I want to know who the manager is.
How do we pick that manager?
You can pick any manager over the last 30
The stipulation for me is the loan king of managers was Kenny Jackett. He signed so many loan players for us, and he loved the Emergency loan ring. Though
he was good.
Should we go through our team Why don't we?
Didn't Holloway as well though?
Let's go through our team.
I like what Chris was saying. Yeah, good idea. So Crosley, what era was that then?
98. So that would have been
Rhino.
Was it Billy Bonds?
Rhino.
Maybe?
Could be.
Was Rhino not 98? When was Rhino?
Rhino was 98. Yeah, you're right. Could be Rhino because he took that young crop of kids through, didn't he?
Yeah, Rhino was.
It depends because Billy Bonds was 98 as well. So it depends when he signed in 98.
Yeah, you're right. Rhino was 98 May to September 2000. And Mark Crossley played for Millwall in. Bear with me. I'm going to get up in 4 seconds' time.
I can't believe no one had Luke Freeman, by the way.
He's actually a nice guy.
Mention.
Very unlucky.
Very Crossley. Mark Crossley, February 98.
So Billy Bonds signed him, yeah.
So Billy Bonds. So it's one vote for Billy Bonds. Glenn Johnson. So was that Mark McGee? Or would that be Mark McGee?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Daniel Ballard is obviously Gary Rowett.
Yeah.
Josh Hoivel would have been who?
Holloway, but I'm scared here, lads, because we've got Fabrini as well. So Holloway's going to get 2 votes. I'm a bit worried.
Holloway is voided. Holloway is not getting.
I'm just a bit worried here.
Well, Nathan Baker was that Jacket?
Jacket.
Okay. Then we look at midfielders. Now we're looking at Andros Townsend.
Jacket.
Jason Malumbi.
Harris.
Yeah. Fabrini would have been
Holloway.
There's 2 for Holloway.
No, it's not.
Punching
is a cunt.
Jacket's going to win it. It's Jacket again, and then Jacket's the 2 strikers as well.
And Chris Wood and Kane. There you go. So
so it's Jacket.
Exercise though, isn't it? Just
Jacket is the best manager on the loan market.
So one of our manager on the Millennium as well.
Yeah. Well, I think Jacket is the most successful Mill manager post Millennium. I do still think it. I'm have to stick by it. I think.
That's why there's only one Kenny Jacket, isn't there?
Yeah, I think he's probably been our best manager since 2000 onwards, and the loan side back it up.
Strong possibility there. So yeah.
So who says our best loan player this season?
The Phobie.
Over Ballard.
Different.
I mean, we didn't mention a phobia in this at all, did we? Yeah,
but I mean, a phobia against Kane or Woods is no contest, is there? But saying that, Ballard, I suppose, got in our all-time Loanee 11.
Well, technically, a phobia has probably scored the most goals for us as a lone player, as a striker, out of all the strikers we've ever had. Because second to him,
he was a consideration for me.
How many goals he scored?
Full process.
How many goals?
14 this year, and I think he maybe got 1 alone for us the first time. So he's got 14. Maybe he might not have even scored in his first stint for us, to be honest with you. I think he had 1 disallowed or at Middlesbrough or something.
So second to him would have been Jay Simpson with 10 goals over 2 stints. And so he's our top goal scorer, our lone striker, isn't he?
But Wood got 11 in 19, so like Wood is like elite, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, you're right. Goals to appearance ratio, it's a lot better, of course.
Yeah,
I think the other thing as well is that if you actually look through, I haven't done a tally chart, but just by looking through when I was going through the stats earlier, we haven't signed as many centre halves on loan as we have strikers. And of those centre-halves we have signed on loan, a lot of them have signed. So that takes a lot of players out of it. But from a striker point of view, it seems to be a thing that a striker comes to us, and if he does well, he doesn't sign for us. So you've got a lot more to play with. So I think there's that element to it as well, why certain positions were harder to pick than others.
It's also
Ballard got in, but a phobia didn't stand a chance.
Because loan signers that ended up signing for us, you've got Bart Bilkowski, you got Jed Wallace, you got George Saville, you know what I mean? The Cooper, the list goes on, like of loan signers that end up becoming permanent. So it's quite hard to pick what the stipulations that were put in place, but I think it's good for them, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cracking 11. I think it's another cracking show. And again, you know, look, if you disagree with some of the selections, we will be doing obviously some polls coming out over the next couple of days, and obviously get involved with them. And also, if you see the polls and you have a vote, make sure you retweet it, just so that we can get as many Millwall fans onto the polls, so we can get a good demographic of Millwall fans there as well. So yeah, hopefully you're enjoying these. They're just something to fill the time while it's, you know, in between the pre-season as such. We've got a few more ideas regarding these all-time 11s, which we're going to end up doing, going through. So make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube. Make sure you've got the notification bell. There are some other shows coming up on YouTube as well. And just make sure you subscribe as well on the podcast. That way, every time we release one, it will come straight to your inbox. And that's it. So are we going to decide the next show then for next week, or are we just going to leave it as a surprise and do it? I mean, are we going to give the listeners a little hint?
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've seen what's in the comments. That could be a good one, but I think we should do a waste of space 11.
We'll be here all night for that one. All the sides.
Too many players to pick from, aren't there?
Yeah. Well, we've got two to choose from, haven't we? So I think a good. So
do you want a free transfer 11?
Poll it.
All right. So look, if you're listening to this, the poll is going to be between a worst loan team 11 or a free transfer team 11. What's the criteria? What's the criteria with a free transfer? Is that even if their contract
expired? Their contract expired after they left their club, and we signed them.
What about bargain of season? So someone like Tim Cahill got really cheap, sold for a bit of money.
Was Cahill not a free transfer?
No, he signed for like 40 grand, I think it was, or 50 grand from Australia. We've also got, we could even have a Millwall kind of academy team that kind of gone on. Homegrown team.
Okay, right. Okay, four teams then. Yeah. We're going to do a free transfer 11, an under 100 grand 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A homegrown 11. And what's going to be the fourth one?
I think it's a free transfer.
Failure. Was it say free transfer? Did you say free transfer already? Or
I've done free transfer.
So it's the failure 11. The signings never worked out.
And does that have to be loan?
Reject 11.
Permanent.
What's that?
Does the reject one have to be loan players, or can it just be anyone?
No, any player.
Anyone that's a reject.
Anyone. So they're the shouts. So we're going to have a worst team 11. So a reject 11. A free transfer 11. An under 100 grand 11.
And a homegrown 11.
And a homegrown 11. So they're the four choices. If you're listening to this now, when this show comes out, it will appear on Millwall Poll. So if you're not already following them, they are our official poll partner. So make sure you get involved with them and vote. And the vote will run for 3 days. And basically, that will be whoever wins there will be the show we do next. And then on the next show, we'll give you another 4 choices, which will go to poll, and then we'll do it like that. Agree, gents?
Yeah, let's have it.
Hopefully, Kai will be back on the next episode. He's got cricket today. Fucking girl. And yeah, that's it. Again, thank you very much for listening. Please do follow us across social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're very, very close to being the biggest Millwall podcast or the biggest Millwall channel on TikTok very, very shortly. So, yeah, if you're not following us yet, make sure you are following us there. and make us the #1 Millwall show on TikTok. We've got some content coming up for that as well over the summer. Again, listen, we only do this because you guys want to listen to us, and you are part of us. So look, that's it. We have been That Millwall Podcast. Many thanks to Omar, Chris, Joe for making the content so damn good. And we'll see you again on the next episode. Don't forget to vote. Speak to you soon.